might be. I don't know. We might need some changes. And we are live. Welcome to the two-man front with the fog and be easy. As you can see, we're here with you guys. Pretty late night. I know it's 10:02. We're gonna get you guys to bed pretty soon here. I know Fog gotta go to bed. He's got to work tomorrow as well. I got an early flight tomorrow back to the East Coast. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of you guys who are watching watching the show on the East Coast. So I'm looking forward to see you guys tomorrow. But also, as always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do subscribe. And of course, leave your comments below, whether you're watching now, whether you're going to be watching later, whether you're going to be watching one of our shorts, whatever it is, leave your comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on all these topics. We got some good ones for you tonight. Let's go ahead and start, Paul. Let's talk some NFL. Week 15, winners and losers, our bread and butter. I keep saying butter. I didn't say butter. Our bread and butter. Week 15, winners and losers, Fog. I'm a loser right now. Who's your winner?
The Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are the winner because they kind of just silenced the critics. Again, it was all self-inflicted. Everything that popped out from A.J. Brown to Brandon Graham, it was all self-inflicted. It was like they said, "Hey, here we are. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, we lit the fire. See the smoke?" And it had to get shut down. They shut it down. They did their thing with the passing game, and you got to see, Jalen Hurts. Although I don't like the way Jalen Hurts addressed it at the end.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a little passive aggressive because let's be honest. The media didn't create the narrative. Your teammates created the narrative. That wasn't on the media. That was your boys. So, but Philadelphia for me was a big winner, and Buffalo, man.
Buffalo's big winner.
Buffalo was a big winner. And again, they're getting healthy. I'll be putting out this week. Hopefully, I get them out tonight before I go to sleep. My top 5 Super Bowl contenders based on defense, rushing statistics, and then their overall rankings. But what 5 teams I think are primed to get to the Super Bowl? My loser.
I like that.
There's so many losers here. There's so many losers. But my loser, I'm gonna go Captain Kirk Cousins. You are my loser.
Another one, damn it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm a loser. Plenty of losers go around, though. Plenty of losers.
He stands out because you literally 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions in the last 5 games.
Yep.
That's Nathan Peterman numbers. That's horrible. So he's the big loser because he literally had the keys to the car. Atlanta gave him the keys to the whip and said, "Here," and you were in the driver's seat for the majority of the year, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but it got upended, and you crashed the shit out that car. You bounced off the divider, hit the guardrail, and then whacked right into a telephone pole. That's how bad it happened. I don't know how the wheels fell off that ride, but they fell off. Cousins has to be the biggest. Has to be the loser because this isn't just for this week. This is the rest of the season. Penix Jr. starting. Captain Kirk might not be in Atlanta next year.
He won't. I don't think it will be. I didn't know he had first of all, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but not only did he get $100 million or whatever he got,
180 million with 90 guaranteed.
Not only that, he has a no trade clause. Like whoever this man's agent is, like I think I looked him up yesterday on Gateway.
I looked him up. I forget the name, but his big client that got him his claim to fame was Philip Lindsay. He took Philip Lindsay under his wing from Colorado, and he said, "I'll be your client. I'll represent you." And after that one big season
One big year
in
he had.
Denver,
Yeah.
yep, he got him the money. He got him the bag.
And we haven't heard from Philip Lindsay since.
Nope.
Haven't heard from the man.
Philip Lindsay didn't know he was going to get that bag. He was like, "Oh, really? Me?"
No. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna start with my loser first because I want to end on a happy note, right? I want to end on a happy note. My biggest I had to go back and forth with this because Kirk Cousins was my biggest loser as an individual. Yes, I mean he's got benched. We all know he got benched for Michael Penix Jr., who will start next week against the Division II team, New York Giants. Right. So so Michael Penix Jr.
Not
honestly,
even a Group 5.
No, skip all that. We're gonna go right to Division II with the New York Giants. My biggest loser, honestly, is the Kansas City Chiefs, and the reason why I say that is this Mahomes injury is it's worse than it seems because they were already struggling offensively now, and they already had a shaky offensive line. Now you're telling me that Patrick Mahomes has to not only worry about his ankle or his offensive line being super shaky, the bookends, the right tackle and the left tackle. He's also got to worry about his ankle, right? I don't think, look, a high ankle, people don't realize a high ankle sprain pretty much is a broken ankle, right? It's a broken, there's a chip in it, right? It's not broken completely, obviously. You can still walk on it, but it's essentially a broken ankle, right?
Yep.
And that's what Mahomes is going to be playing on for the next however long it's going to be. Like that ankle is not going to be right. It's not going to magically be right. Like a high ankle sprain usually takes about maybe 6 to 8 weeks to completely heal. Like he's not going to be right for the playoffs, and he's already a bad offensive line. If you go back and watch the hit he took, it was because his offensive line collapsed, and he had to step up in the pocket, and he got hit, and he got rolled on, and the Chiefs are in trouble, man. Like I understand people just want to say, "Oh, it's the Chiefs. They're 13-1. This, all that, and third." That's fine. And they've won some weird games because they easily could be like 7-5 right now, or something like that.
That team is McShaky.
You said what?
That team is McShaky.
They're in trouble. They are in trouble, man. They're in trouble. That's my biggest loser is that injury. Even though they won the game, that injury from Mahomes was to me the biggest loser of the week because they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Biggest winner for me. I wrote this down. Let's go look at my notes real quick. I had a few. I said Green Bay, the Bills. What are my winners? But you know what? I'm going back. I'm going to the NFC North. I'm gonna say the Vikings, and we're gonna talk about the Vikings in a little bit here with our contender or pretender segment. I'm going Minnesota. I think they put themselves in a position because of the Lions' loss to win the North. Yeah. That division is tight. It's super, super tight. They're my biggest winner of the week because they had to have that game and they won it in such great fashion. I know it was against the Bears. I understand it was against the Bears. The Bears, they put them as a homecoming game. I get it, but they look good. They look pretty good. They're my biggest winner because now they have, I believe they're tied for first. I believe they're tied for first.
Tied for first right now.
NFC North, but I think the Lions have the tiebreaker, I believe. So they can still that division is pretty much going to come down to the wire. The Packers aren't out of it yet either. And we'll talk about them in a minute when it comes to our contenders or pretenders. But I think the Vikings are one of my biggest winners because they it seems like everyone's ready to write them off, but they continue to kind of push that away in terms of that narrative, writing them off. So they seem like they seem like the real deal.
Well, listen, they got a tough schedule ahead. Their last 3 games, and again, here's one of the things where this division is going to come down to the wire when you think about it. You know, Minnesota's got to go to Seattle.
Yep.
Then they're at home against Green Bay, and then they have to go to Detroit.
Yep.
They Week 17 could actually be a meaningful game for them.
It has to be. I mean, even for the Packers. The Packers can around and win the division. So it's gonna be a very, very very, very fun last few weeks in that division, as well as maybe the NFC West as well, with the Rams and Seahawks. I think the Cardinals will kind of play themselves out of it. I think they're done, but now I think it's a two-man race between those two teams. Fun division races in the NFC and also in the AFC as well, particularly in the AFC North. Which brings us to our contender or pretender segment. Now, we've done this before. Fog, I got 4 teams. We'll give a quick reason to why we think this team is a contender or a pretender. First team up, Houston. Are they a contender or are they a pretender? They're coming off a win.
I'm going to say they're a contender because the AFC is just that weak. I think after you get past the Buffalo Bills, you're looking at Kansas City, you're looking at Pittsburgh, you're looking at Baltimore, and you're looking at the Houston Texans. And quite frankly, all 4 of those teams on any given Sunday. There's your answer.
With that being said, I'm going to go the other way because I don't think the Texans can. Well, we'll find out this weekend if they can beat the Chiefs. But I think if out of those 4 teams you mentioned, Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City, and Houston, you know what? Could we throw in LA, the Chargers? Maybe. Could we throw them in there? Possibly. I don't know. I would say the Texans this year, I think they're pretenders. I don't think the Texans get very far. If they make the postseason, I think they're one and done. I think they lose to any of those teams in the first round. I don't see them making a run. Not this year. I don't see them making a run this year.
I think they could beat any of those teams in the first round. Yeah. That's why it's up and down. I guess the AFC is this is the first time I think we're looking at the AFC and we're looking at the AFC going, yeah, sus as hell.
So you say contender. I'm going to say pretender. I don't see them doing much of anything in the playoffs. I think they're a pretender. They're going to make the playoffs, possibly, but I think they're pretenders. All right, next team. Pittsburgh. Are they contenders? Are they contenders or are they pretenders?
I think the Steelers are contenders. They again, they're top 10 in rushing, top 10 defense. They've got, just like the Houston Texans, they've got everything put together there. They have the foundation of making a championship run. I think the Bills, we just looking at the Bills, and the Bills are getting better, and they're looking like they're separating themselves so far from everybody that I think people are willing to look at Pittsburgh and say, well, they may be pretenders. I don't think I think they can compete and they can contend. Again, this is all predicated on George Pickens being healthy because you need that guy to open up the vertical game in order to assist your running attack.
That pretty much sums it up right there. If George Pickens does not come back, and if he's not himself, he can come back all he wants. If he's not himself, we're pretenders. I mean, you said it. I think you said in game-winning drive yesterday. Like we got exposed without George Pickens. We have nothing. We have nothing there. There's it was a Van Jefferson.
And Arthur Smith had zero creativity on that offense. None.
He's not a creativity. He's not a creative guy. He's a guy that takes chances on 50-50 balls, which Russ can do, the Pickens, and running the football. He's not an innovative guy. He doesn't come up with these great route concepts. That's not what he's there for. He's there to run the football, move the ball, play action with Russ, find some guys in the flat, use his tight end. Maybe Freiermuth gets featured more. Let's see. Let's see if Kyle Freiermuth actually gets featured more. We'll see. I don't know, but I'm going to say we're contenders. I'm not being a homer. I think we are contenders because we have a top 10 defense and we're running the football. And even though Najee lost that game for us, I don't care what anybody says, he lost that game for us because he fumbled it at the worst time. He fumbled it at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
I do think that we're still contenders. Contingent on Pickens coming back because we need him because We don't have any receivers. Mike Williams isn't really the guy. Roman Wilson can't stay on the field. He's not healthy. He's been healthy all year. I think we have Van Jefferson. I don't know who our other receivers are. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
Van Jefferson. What is the deal with Roman Wilson? Because I looked at I just don't understand. I had high hopes for this young man.
I did as well. He hurt his knee in training camp, so he was out for that, and then he came back to practice and hurt his ankle. like, I mean, the guy just can't stay healthy. I mean, he's just proven right now, at least. It might as well just shut him down at this point. I don't know why you even bring him back. You might as well shut him down and have him get stronger, have him get a little bigger for next year. I think he's going to be really good, but he's just not. He would have been a great underneath number 2 option opposite of Pickens. Just great. He would have been like our version of Zay Flowers, right?
Yeah.
But he just can't stay healthy, and I think we're missing him. So, but I think we're contenders contingent on George Pickens coming back. Here we go. Next team, Vikings. Just talked about them. Contenders or pretenders?
Oh man, the Vikings are doing everything right on the defensive side of the ball. They're doing honestly, they're doing everything right on the offensive side of the ball too. I just look at the team and I look at the quarterback and I look at the coach and I say, is this what I see in the NFC right now? Can I honestly feel confident with Minnesota potentially having to go on the road?
Yep.
Against some of the teams that they're going to have to Green Bay or Detroit or Philadelphia.
Yep.
And in all honesty, the answer is no. I want to believe they're contenders, but I'm going to have to go with pretenders right now.
Yeah, I don't, like I said yesterday, I don't trust the Vikings on the road. They're a team that they need to get home field advantage. If they get home field advantage, I think they make it to the Super Bowl. I think they beat any team in the NFC. Any team. Eagles, Rams, Packers, Lions. I think they could beat any team. And with that team, that firepower, that coach, that quarterback, Aaron Jones playing out of his mind, I think they could be any team. But if they got to go on the road, if they got to go to Green Bay, if they got to go to Philly, if they got to go to Detroit, even though it's indoors, I'm not picking them. So with that said, again, kind of contingency. Contenders if they get home field advantage. Pretenders if they have to go on the road. Right? I don't see them winning outdoors. Just don't see it.
Well, I don't think the running game. That's the biggest thing for me. The running game isn't really that great. Like you look at all the teams that we just talked about. Pittsburgh Steelers as a contender, they're in the top 10 in rushing. The Detroit Lions, they're in the top 10 in rushing and in defense, right? The Eagles, top 10 in rushing and in defense. So the Bills are creeping in. They're top 10 in rushing. They're almost top 10 in defense. And I think they'll end the season as a top 10 defensive team statistically, but they're getting healthy. And Minnesota's got a top 5 defense. But again, their rushing attack is just not, even though Aaron Jones is playing good, they don't have a solid running game.
Yeah. So contender or pretender?
I'm going with pretenders.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards pretenders. I even put out a poll about the confidence level of teams had on the Vikings 1 through 10, and it was a pretty good poll. Got a lot of traction there. It was like 5. People were in the middle. People were a lot of ones though. A lot of 1s and 2s. Including your brother was a 2. But I'm gonna say pretenders for now. All right. Speaking of Packers, contender or pretender? Green Bay.
I gotta go with contender. Again, I honestly believe when you look at the NFC, the Lions, I still think that you can still have them as the class. I think the injuries are going to kill them, B. I think injuries are going to hurt them big time.
They'll catch up to them eventually.
Here's the thing, and we talked about this on Game Winning Drive yesterday. Running game travels. The Eagles have it. The Packers have it with Josh Jacobs. And the Packers also have a top 10 defense. This is a team that is prime. I think you said it last year. They may be a year or two away from being a contender. And we did contenders, pretenders for the playoffs when they made the playoffs last year. This could very well be the year the Green Bay Packers make it to the Super Bowl, because the Lions are experiencing the injuries, and the Eagles, look, Nick Sirianni is still he's still the question mark at the end of the day. Him and whether Jalen Hurts is always a mistake away from screwing things up. He's one mistake away. And we said it yesterday. What quarterback would you rather have, Jordan Love or Jalen Hurts? And even though Jalen Hurts is a winner, he knows how to win at the quarterback position, we're taking Jordan Love.
At 10 out of 10 times, that's not even. I don't think about that. I just don't. I
think the Packers are real contenders this year.
Packers are contenders. I do. I just love the addition of Josh Jacobs. It makes them a physical football team. Like you said, running the football travels. They're playing pretty good defense as well. Last year, I think they kind of overachieved. And to got the way did they win a playoff game last year?
Yeah, they beat Dallas in Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
That might have been the beginning of the end, because Dallas was killing them in the first half of the game, and then Green Bay just came back and
no. Green Bay was killing them, and then Dallas
was Green Bay killing them in the first half.
Green Bay was destroying them, yes, and then Dallas kind of came back and made a little bit of a run, but it was just too much. Because it was like I remember watching that game. I was like at a bar or something like that, and I was watching the game, and it was shocking. It was like 28-0, something like that. It was crazy. But anyways, I think they're contenders. Again, running the football definitely travels. I just love the addition of Josh Jacobs. We talked about, is Josh Jacobs the best free agent pickup of the year?
Yeah.
I understand Saquon Barkley. I really do. I just feel like the Eagles were still a good team before Saquon. They just became an even better team with Saquon. Here's the thing. Here's the thing I thought about last night, Fall, when it came to those two running backs. I just feel like Josh Jacobs is more of a grinder in the postseason, or in the run game. He's going to be more of a grinder. He's going to get the tough yardage. I'm not saying Saquon can't go off. I think he can and will possibly go off in the playoffs. I worry about his carries.
He's finesse.
He's finesse.
He's finesse at the end of the day. That was always my biggest issue with him.
Did he get hurt a little bit last game? Was he banged up?
That's why you saw so much of Kenneth Gainwell. Yeah. He was hurt.
So that's what I worry about, some of the wear and tear of Saquon, because he's getting a lot of carries, he's got a lot of yards. That's why I said I don't think he's going to go for 2,000, because I think they're going to tail him back a little bit because they want to save that for the postseason. But going back to Josh Jacobs, I think he's just more of a grinder. That's what the Packers needed, because they were too finesse last year. Aaron Jones was great, but now they have a grinder of a running back, and I really, really believe that's going to help propel them wherever they play, on the road, at home, wherever. I think the Packers can definitely beat any team in the NFC and make the postseason. Look, NFC is wide open because all these injuries to the Lions, and the injury bug's going to catch up with them. It just will. Yep. We're gonna see it in the playoffs. 23 guys on IR is just insane, right? And that's just gonna be hard to overcome. But the NFC is so wide open. Like, I would say about maybe 5 teams have a chance? Maybe Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, Philly. Who else? Miss anybody? Washington, maybe?
I don't know about Washington. I think I don't feel Washington.
Yeah, maybe not Washington. But maybe is there anybody else? Did I miss anybody? Maybe LA. Maybe the Rams make a run.
That might be the only team. And again, there's the rushing aspect of it.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams, he's a beast.
Yeah.
You're talking so that again, another team that is relying on defense and that is relying on their rushing attack.
Yeah. So we'll I think the Packers are built to make a run right now. They have the quarterback, they have the bruising receiver. I'm sorry, the bruising running back, excuse me. They have the really, really good receiving core as a whole, and they have the defense. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting to see where they end up. NFC is gonna be wide open. Wide open. But let's go ahead and switch gears. Let's talk some college football. And as we all heard the news yesterday, Michael Vick hired as the head coach at HBCU Norfolk State. Near dear to my heart, obviously, my school, my city. So it's just guy comes from my area as well, 757. Just a great day for the community. I talked about yesterday on Game Winning Drive. I feel like this hire or this move by Vick is bigger than when he even came back to play for Philly, because as a player, he was talented, still talented. Everybody kind of knew he was going to get signed again because he was still young when he came out. But this to me shows that there's a team or teams out there who are willing to make him the leader of your program, the face of your program. And I didn't think I'd ever see this with Michael Vick becoming a head coach of a D1 football program. So shout out to Michael Vick, man. Like, the guy has transformed his life, been an upstanding citizen since he's gotten out, a completely different human being by all accounts, by everybody who's ever come across him. He's earned this, right? He's earned this. So shout out to him. But Fog, I got a question, right? You know, one of the sub stories or sub questions that people were asking is, are you okay with former players being hired with no previous coaching experience? Michael Vick has as far as we know, zero previous coaching experience. Now, there are talks. He was helping out, not coaching. He said helping out his former school, Warwick High School in Newport News, Virginia, is where he went to high school. So he was doing that, but he wasn't the head coach. He wasn't a coach on the team, right? What are your thoughts on this? It's been happening, right? I think Eddie George got a job at Tennessee State, who's doing great. Tennessee State's at HBCU as well, got his team to the playoffs. I believe he was coach of the year. I think Ray Lewis may get a job at like FIU or something like that. Ed Reed got a job. Well, he got a job, then he got fired, but he got a job at another HBCU at Florida A&M. So, Bob, what are your thoughts about this? About guys getting hot? Trent Dilfer, I believe, was another guy who. Well, no, I think he was actually a head coach in high school before he went to.
Yeah, he was a high school head coach.
I apologize for that. But what are your thoughts on former players being hired with no previous coaching experience?
I don't have a problem with it based on, I guess, the position the player played, and I'm going to say how involved and the IQ of the player when it comes to the game. Because as a head coach, again, you're putting your subordinates, your assistant coaches, to come up with the game plans, and you're overseeing it. You're basically saying, "Hey, listen, this is what's going on. Mm-hmm. What are you guys going to do to combat this? What are you on the defensive side going to do to combat this? This is what I'm seeing." You bring it together. You guys go over the game plan together, and at the end of the day, you're the guy that's approving what's going on, or saying, maybe we do this differently. But the bottom line is, you have to be able to understand, obviously, the game. Mike Vick understands it. He speaks the language. He played quarterback at the highest level. Yeah. And he did it at a tremendous level. And we saw exactly how good he could be when he was with Andy Reid. So we know he understands the game. We know he understands the position of quarterback. We know he understands offense. We know he understands how to read defenses.
Yep.
So I don't think it's a big deal as long as the guy has that pedigree.
Yeah.
I think people are making too big a deal out of it because listen, we've got the majority of head coaches. Guess what? They didn't play at an NFL level. Some of them didn't even play at a college level.
Bill Belichick.
They just studied the game, or they were groomed into it. Yep. And so this is, an NFL player. He understands the game, knows what comes with the job. And so I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a bad situation at all. I don't think it's bad. I think people are getting worked up over nothing. We see it happen in the NBA, and quite frankly, the NBA. You could take a 2-hour class on coaching, and me and you could coach in the NBA. Shit.
Or hey, look, we're actually for the NBA. We're actually halfway there because we got a podcast, and we might get a job for the Lakers or something like that, right? So shit, we might be okay. We may be okay. So, but I agree with you. I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it depends on Leah. I think when you're interviewing these guys who are coming in, I think you have to gauge IQ of the game, how much they understand the game, how much they study the game, how much they kind of can recognize things of the game. I think, but I will say that being a head coach is definitely different than being a coordinator because you have to really see the game from a wide spectrum, right? It's in the end, it's you're responsible for pretty much both sides of the ball when it comes to delegation and hiring and making sure you get what you want. Because all the decisions, everything's going to fall back on you. So if your defense is trash, even if you're not a defensive guy, it's going to fall back on you because you hired these guys and you're not really kind of making the necessary adjustments, or at least giving suggestions to make the adjustments to your defensive guys, right? So I think that's going to take some adjusting for Vick. I think personality goes a long way as well. I think personality goes. I don't know. I honestly don't know if Vick has a personality or not. He seems very well respected, very well liked. And he was great on FS1. He was good. Yeah. He knows what he's talking about. He understands the game. I've heard him talk about football on various podcasts. He has a very, very interesting and intelligent way of explaining the quarterback position. So if anything, he's going to know how to teach that, right? Whoever the quarterback is for Norfolk State, he's going to know how to teach that, right? He knows how to read the game. He knows how to read defenses. He gets it. So, I'm interested, right? And we'll see. We'll see if Michael Vick, who he is, who he's become, can translate into being a head coach. And we'll see, right? We'll see. I think, honestly, my biggest feeling is this. I think Mike, obviously, he's got a lot of love down there. Norfolk State needs something. The program has been pretty down for the last 4 or 5 years under the last head coach. So this is more of and if anything, this is more of a good face hire to kind of rejuvenize the program, the school as a whole. It's definitely gonna be really, really cool to see like green and gold Michael Vick jerseys. We're gonna see a lot of that. But honestly, I'm gonna be real with you, Bog. I'm gonna be real with you. This is my theory. This is what I think is going to happen. If Vick does well, let's say he has 2 or 3 good winning seasons, whatever that means for Norfolk State, right? Don't be surprised if you see him at Virginia Tech in a few years.
Ooh,
as a head coach. Don't be shocked if he can show that he can lead a program, a D1 program, right at this level. Okay, and although it's FCS, I get it, but if he can show he can lead this team to the HBCU championship game, or if they decide to go to the HBC or decide to go to the FCS playoffs, because they can opt to do that instead of going to the HBCU national championship game. If he can do that, like what Eddie George is doing, then don't be surprised if Virginia Tech calls him and say, "Hey, we need you back here because we got to revitalize this program where you went to." right? Because that's a program that is in the dust. Like Virginia Tech is just not for real. I'm telling you right now, like you ask anybody in Virginia, like when I was growing up, Virginia Tech for players, for guys who played football in Virginia was
Yeah.
the school to go to. That was the school, whether you were a 5-star guy or a 3-star guy. When Beamer was there, the Vick eras, even the Marcus Vick era days, like it was the school to go to when they were in the Big East and even the ACC. But now it's an afterthought. Like I would say that like right now, Virginia Tech may be the 3rd best school in Virginia, maybe behind JMU, behind ODU, maybe. Well, no, actually, let me not be too disrespectful. I think Tech is probably 2nd behind JMU, and UVA is kind of hovering around there too. But it's nothing like what it was when Vick was there, or with the early 2000s and mid 2000s. So let's see where that
I was
goes.
going to say, when's the last time somebody relevant came out of
Man,
Virginia Tech?
honestly, Tyrod Taylor. That was last time. That was 2009, I believe.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Damn.
Tyrod Taylor. He's arguably behind Michael Vick as the 2nd greatest Tech quarterback of all time. Behind Vick. Arguably. All right, let's go move on to some transfer portal news.
Didn't Cam Chancellor come from Virginia Tech?
Yes, he did. Cam Chancellor. There were a lot of guys. There were a lot of guys that came from Tech, like so many that Daryl Tapp, Cam Chancellor, so many dudes who come from Tech. I mean, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head right now, but there have been a lot of guys. Tech was a place where they produced some NFL guys. They have produced some NFL talent. Eddie Royal came from Virginia Tech. He had some good years in the NFL. Who else am I thinking about? I can't think of it right on top of my head. Not top of my head right now. Not at 10:39 or 7:39 for you, but I can't think of anybody right now. But
Tech had oh shit! I forgot about this guy because he hasn't done shit in Tennessee. But Caleb Farley.
yeah. He was a guy. I mean, they've had some guys. They definitely had some guys come out of Virginia Tech. Oh my gosh, D'Angelo Hall. I was like, who am I thinking about? D'Angelo Hall. He came out of Tech, probably one of the best DBs in the NFL at one point. He came out of Tech. So yeah, Tech had a lot of dudes. Had some dudes come out of that school, man. They really did. They really, truly did. But let's go ahead and talk transfer portal. The transfer portal has been the talk the last, as it always is around this time, because I don't know why they don't just close it until after the season, but I feel like it just takes away from the postseason, the bowl games, and literally takes away the bowl games from teams, because the transfer portal, because we are Marshall story, where
we are gone.
where the whole team pretty much up and left, right? That's an interesting story right there. And then you got this story right here. This is Bear Alexander. Now, if you don't know who Bear Alexander is, you probably don't know him because he's always changing teams. You don't know where he lands. So this is pretty much Bear Alexander's football career in terms of the teams he's played for since high school. He has gone to a different school every single year, with the exception of last year, where he was at USC for 2 years.
Holy shit.
3 games, a year and 3 games to say, where he has changed schools. He changed high schools 4 times in 4 years. And then he went to 3 different colleges in 3 years while I was in college. Georgia, USC, and then he had 3 games at USC, and he self-redshirted himself. And now he's going to another school, wherever he goes. It could be Penn State. I don't know, right? But it's just, the question is, what needs to be done? And do you have any solutions to, I guess, quote unquote, fix the transfer portal, if anything needs to be done?
Well, here's the first thing that needs to be done. And it's not just with the transfer portal. You just said it. We're talking about Marshall now, and players defecting. Players and coaches need to finish out the season. bowl games, playoff games, you need to finish out the season. You should not be allowed to leave prior to your bowl game. You should not be allowed to hire somebody prior to a bowl game because now you got an interim coach coming in. Players, no transfer portal. All of that should be closed down. This should have been, I mean, this is, I think, just basic stuff. Wait till the season's over before
Mhm.
you allow these guys to do things. I also believe the transfer portal should be limited, and you shouldn't be allowed to transfer. I'd say put a cap on transferring, maybe 2 times. That's it. That's all you can transfer.
Yeah.
After that, if you decide you want to transfer again, well, guess what? Now the old rules come into effect. You got to sit a year.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think there needs to be some parameters around the transfer portal. I think the first thing they can do, honestly, is not open it until after the season. I don't understand why they just don't do that. Like you said, like I don't understand. Just open the transfer portal the day after the national championship game, right? And you open it until about maybe spring practice, maybe until about February, I guess, end of February, possibly March 1, and then you close it, right? So everybody kind of goes where they want to go. They're there for spring practice. There's going to be some battles, some competition. And then you open it back up, maybe June, maybe like April 1 or not April 1, maybe like June 1, possibly. And then you get guys to transfer in the summer, maybe May 1. Then you get guys transferring in the summer, and then you close it during fall practice. You close it for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And it's like free agency, right? I mean, well, I guess you can sign free agency anytime you want, but free agency starts, right? There's a certain time. I think it starts like March, something like for the NFL, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you just do that, right? Also, I agree with you. I think there needs to be some parameters about how many times you can transfer, right? Because I think at this point, it's becoming a gimmick, right? Like these guys are transferring, like TJ Finley, who's like the quarterback who's transferred like every year. Every single year he's going to a different school, right? And he's just playing. And you got guys like Bear Alexander, who's transferring it again. Now he's transferring from Georgia to USC and now to another school, right? It's just making a mockery of the game. And honestly, it's just disrupting like roster spots. It's disrupting high school, right? I do think there needs to be, I think the first time you do it, great, fine. If you want to go somewhere, no restrictions. No restrictions. And honestly, let me say this first. I don't think there should be any restrictions where you can transfer. And one of the reasons why I hated the old transfer rules was like they were saying you couldn't transfer within the Big Ten if you played in the Big Ten school.
Yeah, you couldn't transfer within the conference.
I hated that. Like, whatever. Let me go wherever I want to go, right? No restrictions. But my first thing I will do is this. Allow them to transfer, no restrictions, anywhere they want, fine, great. The second time you transfer, right, I personally believe what should happen is you got to sit out 2 games the next time. Sit out the first 2 games, right? That's your penalty for transferring again consecutively, right? Consecutively. If you transfer again for a third consecutive time, like what Bear is doing, if you transfer again for a third consecutive time, I think you should have to sit out at least 4 or 5 games. Well, at the very least, you sit out like 2 games plus maybe 2 conference games, right? Because you know they do that in high school, at least in California. When a person transfers, I don't know how the rules are kind of weird. I think it's like if you transfer within the county, you got to sit out like 4 games. It's very, very weird. It's very, very weird rule, but I don't mind it because it kind of makes kids not be allowed to transfer wherever they want to transfer to. Now that's Northern California. Southern California, you can do whatever the hell you want down there. It's wild. It's the wild west in Southern California. It really is. It is crazy. There's guys who transfer within the playoffs. It's crazy. It's the reason why Mater Dei and Bosco are what they're doing, right? But I think there just needs to be some rules when transferring to get guys to kind of think about doing it. And if you do it, you do it. But just know that if you do it, you're going to lose some games. Yeah. Right? Not NIL money. NIL money is going to be there. I'm not touching the money. I hate when people try to take money out the kids' pockets. Not touching that. You're not losing a dime. You're just going to lose some games. That's pretty much it. right? I think that's what you got to do at this point because, like, just this whole idea of transferring every single year, because I don't know what it does. I don't know what they're trying to actually accomplish. Like, it's not going to make you a better NFL player. If that's your goal, like, I don't know. I would love to know what the thinking is behind Bear. I would love to know what he's trying to do. I don't want to psychoanalyze him on here. I have some theories, right? Some psychological theories to why he's doing it, but I'm not going to do it on
He
here.
has commitment issues.
I'm like, like I don't know, but I wonder, like, what is he trying to do here? What is he trying to accomplish here? Because I just don't get what he wants to do. It makes no sense to me. So, yeah, I think we're on the same page with this. I think the transfer. I think first and foremost, change the dates. Like,
Yep.
open the season or open the portal after the season. So you don't. So then you don't have to worry about like the Penn State quarterback. You don't have to worry about him leaving during the playoffs because I don't know if you heard about this, Vlog. He had to leave during the playoffs because he was worried about not finding a spot.
Yeah.
He had to leave just so he can find a place to play. Like, if he didn't do it now, he was going to be shit out of luck. Right.
Yep.
So stuff like that helps guys who are in the playoffs, because it's almost like you're like punishing guys on these teams who are in the postseason. Now they got to wait till the team to lose so they can transfer. Like, it's crazy. It's just not a good look. Not a good. I hope they put some parameters back on the transfer portal because it's just
they didn't even have parameters. I mean,
they did.
The parameters. The parameters they had were completely restricted. You couldn't do anything. We control what you're doing. Now it's like, okay, whatever, do whatever you want. It's the NCAA has never gotten it right, and I don't think they ever fucking will. I just don't think they ever will get it right because when they, just like with the NIL, there was no parameters. It's just like, okay, we got to do this. We got to do this. Hurry up, panic, boom. Transfer portal, okay, we just got to open it up. But let's keep it the way it was before. Well, no, you're going to make changes. You got to prepare for how those changes are going to impact the game going forward, how those changes are going to impact the schools going forward. And it's like the NCAA puts, for how intelligent, because these people aren't stupid that are in the positions that they're in. These are not dumb people. These are very intelligent individuals who just lack any and all sensibility on anything. If it is not written down on paper for them, they can't process it.
Yeah. I look. The one thing I'm not gonna do is touch the NIL money. I'm pretty adamant about that. I don't think there needs to be any restrictions on the name, image, and likeness. People have come up with some ideas about putting a luck, or like a building a pot luck, whatever, at the end of the 4 years, and if you graduate, you get the money. That's cool. That's fine. Whatever they want to do to pay these guys or pay them a salary, whatever. I don't care. Right? Don't touch the NIL money. That's all I'm saying. That's my name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's nothing to talk about. If somebody wants to pay me money to use my name, image, and likeness in a way to be in some commercials,
I'm all for it. Yeah.
I'm all for it. Like, I'm all for that. Like, but don't, the transfer portal stuff and NIL, to me, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand because you got guys going into the portal for NIL money. But, I do believe that if you put some parameters to where, like, okay, if you transfer consecutively, right, for a second time, consecutive years, then you got to set out some games. That, I think, at the very least, is going to help people kind of like think about it a little bit. If not, then it is what it is. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the year. I mean, I don't think college football, or I don't think the NFL is going to do. I'm sorry, the NCAA is going to do much of anything. So, like, because it's the NCAA. So, I mean,
they'll wait till everything blows up and then say, "Oh, okay, we got to do something now."
Well, yeah. Missed the most reactive league. Well, the NFL may have something to say about that. But anyways, like, speaking of the NFL, let's go some game picks, Fog. Week 15. Oh, sorry, week 16, excuse me. Very, very wonky type of schedule this week. We got a Thursday game, got a game tomorrow, got a couple Saturday games, which I hate because that's when the college football playoff is, but good ones though. Like just really good Saturday game.
It's almost
NFL,
like they did this deliberately.
the NFL, they're assholes, man. I tell you, man, they are just assholes. Anyways, let's get started, Fog. Real quick. Broncos at Chargers. Huge playoff implications in this one. Who you got?
I'm going to take the Broncos here in the upset. I think the Chargers are that was a bad loss against Tampa Bay. It's a short week. I don't know how well they rebound. They've got injuries too. I think that I'm going to take Denver in this one. I think Denver pulls it out.
Yeah. Really, really bad loss. Very bad loss for the who did they lose to again? They got destroyed.
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay beat the brakes off of them.
Really bad loss for the Chargers. Like I didn't see that one coming at all. I think the Broncos win this one as well. I think the Broncos come in and kind of separate themselves from the Chargers by winning their 10th game. And the Chargers, if they lose this game, are pretty much probably going to be done. If anything. So they need it, but I think the Broncos win this game. Sorry, big one. Saturday game. Houston Texans at Chiefs. Who you got?
The Texans need to win this game, like we were just talking about. Contenders, pretenders. They need to go in there and win this game to put people on notice. Yep. So because of the Chiefs being banged up the way they are, I'm going to roll the dice on the Texans here to give the Chiefs that second loss. I'm going to take the Texans here in an upset.
If the Texans don't blitz Mahomes every play, then someone needs to get fired. If they don't bring pressure every play, someone needs to be fired because that's what I'll be doing. I'll be pinning my ears back and testing that ankle every play. Because even
let's see what Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, and Juju Smith-Schuster can do.
100%. Because every play, I want him off his spot. Because even if he doesn't get hit, he's going to have to run. That quarter zone shot he's going to be taking to ease the pain is going to be gone in the second half. The weather is supposed to be pretty iffy. I'm going with Houston in this one as too, Fog. I'm going with Houston. They need this game. They do. They need this game. I believe they already clinched a playoff berth. Did they clinch the berth and the division, or just the berth?
I think they clinched both, to be honest.
Both, right? Yeah, I think they clinched both as well. So we already have that. So now they're kind of just jockeying for a seed. I think or a higher seed. I think they pull the upset off. I do. I think they pull it. I think they pull the upset. I got Texans as well. All right. This is a big one. This is for the division. Pretty much for the Steelers to win the division. We win the division. If the Ravens win, they still have a shot. Fog, who you got? Steelers at Ravens.
I'm taking the Ravens at home. These games are always tough. And as much as I think the Steelers can, like I said, I don't think the Steelers are pretenders at all. The Ravens, I feel, just have too much on the offensive side of the ball. And I don't know how healthy Pickens is, but I don't know if the Steelers struggled trying and it had a good game plan, but they struggled against a injured Saquon Barkley. What are they going to do against a healthy Derrick Henry?
Oh man, this is almost feels like a must win because I don't trust us beating the Chiefs, even though we get the Chiefs at home. I just don't trust it. Even though it's a short week too. It's a short week for both of us, really. It's a short week for both teams. I just feel like we got to win this game, but I agree, Fog. I think it's hard to beat a team twice. I always say Ravens are pretty good at home. Like I said yesterday, Lamar Jackson's pretty pissed off. He didn't play well against us the first time, so I expect him to play better, right? Just naturally, I think he's going to play better. Yeah, I think we lose our first. I think we go on our first losing streak of the year. I think we lose 2 in a row. We don't clinch, and Ravens win, and it's going to be that division's going to come down to the wire. It's going to come down to the last couple games. It really is. We play the Bengals last game of the season. They play the Browns, I believe the Ravens do. I forget, but yeah, I got the Ravens. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, look, I hope I'm wrong. Shit, I don't care. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong. Like, I really don't. But I just we really need that game against Philly. That was the game we really needed. Because honestly, if we would have won that game, I would have been okay with losing this game. Like, because I would have been okay with it. You know,
not a stakes are risen higher.
Now the stakes are risen higher. Then we got Kansas City, potentially losing 3 in a row. I don't want to go into the playoffs losing 3 of the last 4 because I think we're going to be right. Not a good look. So, I got the Ravens in this one though. All right, Sunday football. We got the D2 Giants at rookie Penix Jr.'s Falcons. You got
the Penix Jr. era begins. I'm going with the Falcons here.
I think he's going to line it up.
I think the Falcons are going to kill the Giants.
Yeah, I think Penix Jr. is going to light it up. I got the Falcons in this one too. It's not going to be. I mean, it's the Giants are awful. They're just an awful team. Why isn't Brian Dable like? Has he? I haven't heard about his job being on the line. I don't hear him being.
I don't hear nothing coming out of there.
Nothing. He's coming back. Like, anyways, okay, but we'll see. All right, next game: Cardinals at Panthers.
I'm taking the Panthers here. The Panthers disappointed me last weekend. This is a 1:00 game, traveling from the west to the east coast. It's always a struggle. And I'm going to go Carolina. I just don't buy the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals overachieved this year.
You know, honestly, the record wouldn't say this, but because of what you just said about them overachieving, it's like a toss-up game. Like, I can see either one of these teams winning. Even though the records say different, I got the Panthers too. I'm rooting for them, man. I mean, honestly, the Panthers could have 6 wins. They've lost some pretty close games these last 3-4 games. They could easily be about 7-7 or 6-8 or something like that with Bryce Young coming back. They were in some games, man. They just don't have the team. But I'm going with the Panthers too. I think the Cardinals are just they're 7-7, but they don't seem like they're a good team.
No,
at all. All right, Lions at Bears.
Oof. I'm sorry, Chicago, but you're getting the Lions out the cage after that loss against Buffalo.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Lions on this one.
Yeah, I think the Lions are going to come out ready to play. I think they're pretty upset as well. The Bears are just sitting ducks right now. Honestly, I just think at this point, Caleb Williams just has to stay healthy to survive these last 3 games, man. Just got to survive. Help is on the way.
Sit him and let him live.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say sit him, but I don't know if that'll be a good. I don't know if that'll be a good look though. I don't know to sit him without him being hurt.
Yeah,
that'll be a good look. But I got the Lions this one too. All right, Titans at Colts. Horrible game.
I don't even know how the Titans got 3 wins, so I'm taking the Colts.
I don't even know.
I don't even know who plays for the Titans.
I have no clue who plays for the Titans. I don't know who the coach is. I really don't know who the coach is. And I don't know how they got 3 wins. I'm going the Colts, I guess. But if the Titans are the most irrelevant team in football, because there's nothing to talk about with them. I know Will Levis got benched though. And guess we called that fall. I mean, people were trying to convince us that Will Levis is a good quarterback. All right. Rams traveling all the way to New York to play the Jets or New Jersey.
Damn, man. This is a game the Jets could actually win.
I was thinking that same. Yeah.
This is a game the Jets could actually win.
Yep.
You know what? I'm going to take the Jets in an upset.
Wow.
I'm not betting on it. Don't ever bet on the Jets. But I think the Jets, this is a game that they can accidentally win. And like I said, Aaron Rodgers is going to look to try to win games. He's not
Mm-hmm.
trying to lose. So yeah, I'm going to take the Jets in an upset.
It's so funny you say that, Paul, because I honestly believe Aaron Rodgers, as crazy as it sounds, we talked about this yesterday in Game Winning Drive, whether he's going to be back in the league or if he's going to have a job. He's going to have a job, but there's going to be no other team that's going to take him but the team he's on. So I do believe that he's almost kind of playing for his job, because if he can pull out one or two more wins, they can get to 7-10 or maybe even 6-11. Like, and win their last 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, get a little bit of a streak here, they're gonna run it back. Run it back. Even though it's gonna be stupid, but they're gonna run it back. So I got the Jets with an upset as well because I think they're feeling good right now. I think they're feeling really, and the Rams defense is awful. And they're coming from the West Coast. This is set up for the Jets to win. It's set up for them to win. So we'll see. I got the Jets. I do. I got the Jets as well. I am glad you said that. All right, big one. Pretty big one right here. Commanders or Eagles at Commanders.
I want to take Washington so bad. I really do, because the Eagles are just they keep winning. At some point in time, you're going to have to run into you're going to have to run into a wall, and a divisional game might be the wall you run into. So I'm going to take Washington here.
I'm looking at the Washington schedule right now real quick. I want to see something. Let me see. Let's see. The games they lost were they lost to Baltimore. They lost to, let's see, us, Steelers. They lost to you guys. And they lost to the Cowboys. Wow, really? God damn, that's bad. And then they lost to who the fifth lost to? I don't know. Basically, the theme I'm looking at is they lose to good teams. So I got the Eagles. Like, they don't beat good teams. And honestly, that's a sign of a team that's young. It's a sign of a team that hasn't learned how to win yet. And they're about a year away. They're kind of like where the Packers were last year a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe even the Texans, right? We'll see what they are next year. Get some pieces. Jaden Daniels is going to be a year older, year wiser, year two. I got the Eagles in this one, but because the Commanders don't beat good teams. So I had the Eagles. Let's see. Oh God, battle for Ohio. Browns, who just benched Pastor Jameis, at Cincy.
At Cincy.
Look, man.
It's the Bengals.
Yeah, look, if Cincy wins all 3 of their next games, they may be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They might mess around and make the playoffs. Like, they don't control their own destiny. They got to win their games, but they may just mess around and make the playoffs. It's crazy how they were just, they never really seemed out of it, but they seemed out of it. It's weird.
Because their defense is so shitty. That's the problem. Their defense is bad. I don't even understand. We talk about the Giants looking like Division II. These guys just look like community college defense. Like, their defense is bad. It makes I say this I said it yesterday on the Game Winning Drive. Joe Burrow should be in the conversation of MVP. If you're not, I get it, the team is losing, but this team has 0 wins if they don't have Joe Burrow on that. If you put Brock Purdy over to this team is 0-14 at the current moment.
And that's not even an understatement. They're probably 0-14. They're probably I'm sorry, that's not an overstatement. They're probably on winless. That's how bad their defense is, but that's how good Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have been.
Yes.
Right? That's how good that tandem has been. They have carried that team to victory, to 6 wins, which is incredible. All right. Vikings at Seahawks.
Man, Geno looked bad last week.
He did.
Minnesota. This is a game. This is a game that if Minnesota needs to win this game because again they've got the Packers and they've got the Lions in their next two games. They need to win this game, but this is a game again like the Jets against the Rams. This is a game that Seattle could mess around and win. I'm taking Seattle here.
Man, it's one of those games where the Vikings could actually just lose for no reason.
Mhm.
Like, let's lose for no reason. But I think that the Vikings win this game. I think the Vikings are good as advertised. I think the Seahawks are just one of those teams where I think they're overachieving. Kind of like the Cardinals. I think they're overachieving. I really do. I don't think they're that good of a team. I think the Vikings win. If Vikings win this game on the road, that will show that they can win in places.
Yeah, that's going to be big.
That's going to be big. That's going to be big for them if they win this game on the road. I got Minnesota. All right, the inverse game: 3-11 Patriots at the 11-3 Bills.
Bills. That's it. Nothing else to say. Bills.
Yeah, I got the Bills. Bills. I mean, there's nothing to talk about this game. There's
nothing to talk about this next game either. What a shit show.
Oh my God. Well, this is actually to be fair, battle for the number one overall pick. Battle for the number one overall pick, Fog. Don't get it twisted. Right. Also, I got a question for you about this game as well, but about the Jags. But who you got, real quick?
Man. I'm going to take the Jaguars just because after watching the Raiders against Atlanta. You know how I feel bad for? I feel bad for Brock Bowers because you got drafted by this team.
You know what's so interesting about the Raiders? Like, I feel like they may be the worst team in football, but for whatever reason, they don't feel like the worst team in football.
No.
I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know why, but I just feel like there's so many, like, the Titans are awful. The Jags are awful. But the Raiders are awful. But the Raiders don't feel like the worst team in football. And maybe because they have some talent, some notable talent. I don't know. They just don't feel like the worst team, but they are technically by record. Who'd you get? Who'd you pick? The Jags?
I'm taking the Jags, yeah.
Yeah, I'm picking the Jags too, man. I mean, yeah. Let me ask you this real quick. Off the top of my head, Trevor Lawrence, do you trade him and start over? Like, if you get rid of Doug Peterson, do you trade Trevor Lawrence as well?
If you get rid of Peterson, what would that be? We'd be going to the third head coach.
Yep, third head coach. We had Urban Meyer first year, and including myself, kind of give him a little bit of a mulligan, little bit, because Urban Meyer was shit head coach. But he just the inconsistencies of Trevor Lawrence and the injury of Trevor Lawrence, injuries he's had over the last 2 years, second injuries, maybe his second season ending. Well, he didn't have a season ending injury last year, but he was hurt last year that affected his play.
Yeah.
But,
you know what? I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
I would absolutely be fine with that. Maybe if you could get something good in return,
yeah,
maybe second round pick and a couple of players. I'd do it. I'd see what the best deal is that you could get for him, and then just scratch it. Scrap everything and start over because it just didn't work. Didn't work with the coach you got brought in initially. Didn't work with Doug Peterson. Scrap it and start anew.
Yeah, I agree. I put him on the market and see what you can get.
Yeah,
particularly around draft time. I put him on the market, see what you can get, see what happens. That's what I do. 100%. I see what you can get because I wanna. I'm curious. If I'm the Jags, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm more curious what I can get. All right, battle, in my opinion, of the two most disappointing teams in the NFL: the 49ers and the Miami Dolphins. Who you got?
I'm taking the Dolphins. Tua had a real bad game last week.
Who's bad? Who's bad?
But he's also been a guy that's been up and down. And since he came back, this team has looked much better. I think had Tua not gotten hurt and stayed healthy, I think the Dolphins are a team that's in contention for the playoffs. I think San Francisco is just. I think they've leveled off between injuries. I think they're down to their the practice squad running back now that they're throwing out there on the football field. I'm going to take Miami in this one.
Potentially no Trent Williams either. So good luck, Brock Purdy, with another weapon gone. I'm going with Miami as well. I think Miami was good at home. They win at home. Tua had a bad game. I think he has a bounce back game. They keep their playoff hopes alive. I think they're out of the playoffs, so I don't think they're going to make it. I'm going to win the next three. But I think they're done. I think the Dolphins win. Niners are done, but both these teams are pretty much done.
Yeah.
All right. Sunday Night Football. Bucks
what a Dallas. Showcase game there. I'm taking Tampa Bay. Dallas looked great against Carolina, and that's it. They looked great against Carolina. They're coming home, and they're going to get smacked by Tampa Bay.
Okay. I got Dallas in the upset. I got Dallas in the upset because Dallas knows how to ruin things. You know why? They could just lose and get a better draft pick, but they won't because it's Dallas. Like, they just find ways to screw themselves. So I got Dallas winning this game and then propping up Cooper Rush and then having a quarterback controversy. Like, it's just they're too stupid to get out of their own way. Get a good draft pick, but no, let's try to make the playoffs. Let's try to make the playoffs. And when we don't get a good draft pick in a very weak draft. Like, it's just ridiculous. But I got Dallas. I got Dallas in this game. I got Dallas in the upset because they're idiots. All right, Monday Night Football, real quick. Saints at Packers.
Packers.
Easily the Green Bay Packers. Easily the Green Bay Packers. All right, real quick now. Got some bonuses here.
Ooh.
College football playoff this Friday night. In my opinion, the best first round game right here. And we already did this, so we already made our picks on this. But Fog, remind us who you got. Indiana at number 7, Notre Dame. Battle.
I gotta go with Notre Dame. That they got the hot streak. They got the hot hand. They might be one of the hottest teams coming into this playoff.
I agree. I got Notre Dame as well. I believe I got Notre Dame going all the way to the championship game. So I got it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
But man, what a I can't even imagine what the talk's gonna be if Notre Dame loses in the first round. I couldn't even imagine the rumblings. Like, I couldn't even, and then man, that would be an upset. That would be an upset if Notre Dame doesn't win this game.
Yeah.
All right. Next game or next day, got three good ones. Falk, you got SMU at Penn State.
I want to see SMU win so bad, but I'm gonna have to go with Penn State on this one. It's SMU. At home. I know you had SMU. And listen, SMU's a good bet. SMU is the bet SMU to get to that Final Four because whoever wins Penn State, SMU, guess who they play? Boise State.
Yep. Toss-up game. Like, toss-up game. I got SMU. This is a good one. This is going to be a fun one, too. Your Longhorns going up against number 12, Clemson.
Yep, I'm taking Texas here. I'm going chalk.
Chalky, yeah. I believe I picked Texas as well, but I wouldn't be shocked if somehow, some way, Dabo Sweeney found a way to
No,
beat
that Dabo, listen, the guy, we said it before. Don't like him as a person, but man, he
yeah,
could coach his ass off.
he can coach his ass off. He really can. He really can coach his ass off. I got Texas, but that's gonna be a good one. All right, and then Fog. Let me ask you this question: will Ryan Day have a job after this game?
He better coach like he needs that job during this game. I'm going to say he will because I'm taking Ohio State to win this game. Again, it's at home. You got every college stadium home game has that sixth man. I think it's going to be too much. Again, Ryan Day, you can't lose twice in the horseshoe, especially after that horrible loss against Michigan. You can't. If he loses this game, him and his entire staff is gone.
Gone. Like literally the next day.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way he comes back.
They might be fired. They might be fired as soon as that clock hits zero.
Literally. I could see it being a situation where they're fired middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna wait. There's no need to wait. They're already at home. You need to fly back. You're already at home, right? I no, it'll be over if they lose to Tennessee at Ohio. Yeah, but I got Ohio State winning this game. But yeah, I just Ryan Day needs to coach this game like it's his last. He really does. Yeah. Because if he loses, he's gone. It's over. It is good as over. We got some good football. But you know what? I see the time of these games. The NFL is going to be sandwiched in between Penn State. It's going to be a lot of good football this weekend. I mean, whatever you're looking for, it's going to be a lot of good football. I'm just looking forward. Friday, I'm looking forward to Friday. That Notre Dame game, that Notre Dame Indiana game, I'm looking forward to that one. That Notre Dame is going to be rocking. And I've been there this year, and that stadium is rocking for playing bad teams. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when they play an in-state rival. Also, I just learned before we go, Notre Dame and Indiana haven't played since I got to look it up again. They haven't played since the 50s or something like that.
Really?
I got to look it up. I got to look it up, but they haven't played in a very long time. That's all I know. They haven't played in a very, very, very long time. So I was very surprised to kind of learn that information. They haven't played. So, I mean, yeah, it's interesting that they're
that's wild.
Yeah, they're in-state rivals, but they haven't played a football game in such a long time, which I find very, very fascinating. But now playing for much, much higher stakes. Much higher stakes. Well, that's going to do it for us. Late night over there. Appreciate you guys staying up with us. And appreciate you guys staying up with us. Appreciate everybody watching on every platform. 3-Man Weave, Game Winning Drive, 4QQ, everywhere. I think another one. Oh my goodness. Oh, Sports Speak. Thank you guys for all enjoying and allowing us to stream on your platforms. Really, really appreciate you guys coming on. I know it's late. And I know it's late. Fall game, last words before we go.
Yo, 91 was the last time they played. And since then, they've only played one time in 65 years.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was.
That is insane.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what I read.
I did not know that. Man, Notre Dame just ducks everybody. That's all I got out of that. Man, you ducked Indiana?
That's unbelievable.
We will bring on Tennessee, Chattanooga. That's who we want to play. We don't want to play Indiana.
We'll play everybody but Indiana in their own state. If anything, if I'm Indiana, and I'm Coach Spaghetti, I'm using that as motivation or something. I don't know. I gotta do something because that's incredible.
We had to wait till a 12-team playoff to actually play these bums. We better go in there and beat the shit out of them.
Oh my God.
We have one job: destroy the Fighting Irish.
That's incredible. I find that incredible as well. But that's gonna do it for us, guys. I'm gonna let you guys go. As for me and Be Easy, Fog, Objectively Biased Sports, and we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the games.